Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. It's Wednesday. It's 24th of May. May is on wheels, and if you haven't tuned into 3FM 92.7 to listen to the Sunrise Morning Show yet, then you're missing a lot, because there's a lot that's happening here. And you should tune in and listen to us from 5:55 all the way to 10 a.m. I invite you, and you're welcome. Start your morning with us. Now, yesterday, the people of Kumawu made a bold decision. It was a landslide victory for the NPP's candidate. And mind you, Kumawu is a stronghold of the New Patriotic Party. But it was a landslide victory, because if you look at the results from the 2020 elections and even beyond that, you look at the figures that were recorded, over 70% of the people made a decision to vote. So put up the images there, the details, so that we can see. So that's it. 15,264. That's 70.91%. Kwesi Amanko of the NDC had 3,723. That's 17.29%. Kwekudia had 2,478. That's 11.51. And Kwekudia 2 had 62 votes. That's 0.29 of the votes. So this is what happened in Kumawu. A decisive decision. But guess what? There's a dynamic that is not usual with the results as it is now. Or maybe you bring back the NDC and NPP. You know, in Kumawu, on a regular, because this is about the first time we have a by-election, but on the regular, you will have the NPP come first, then the independent candidate, and if you have time, you can check there. The independent candidate comes, and then it is the NDC. In this particular one, it is the NPP, the NDC, and then the independent candidate, who is also from the stock of the NPP, who contested in the last election with Philip Baswa. May he rest in peace. So in this election, he was the only constant, because he had seen the main election and has also seen this one. The NDC brought a new candidate, the NPP brought a new candidate. So the dynamics are different. In the past, if you check the results from Kumawu, the independent, whenever there had been an independent candidate, that independent candidate had won over the NDC in the constituency. So what really happened on the grounds in Kumawu? And I've seen, you know, a lot of people make a jest of a poll I did. Well, I'll show you a few of the polls, because this is not the first time I have done polls on my Twitter page. And you see the interesting thing. So I asked a question, for example, that fellow Ghanaians, what should Parliament do with the LGBTQI bill proposed by Sam George? I did a poll. Pull it up so they can actually see it's a poll. I did a poll, right, on this particular one, and we don't have too much time, so let's keep running the poll quickly. So you see, it's a poll, right? 70%, 71% they pass it into law. 17 said reject it, delay it, pass it 2%, and then 9% said I don't care. There's another poll. So I've done too many of those polls. What surprised me is the fact that I belong to a few of the professional groups. It's a mix of both NDC and NPP people, and you have, you know, people who are neutral. I says, well, in Ghana, if you are under 40, you cannot become president. That's the starting point. Save some exceptions. When you turn 60, you become a pensioner if you work for government. Should there also be a cutoff point for those who aspire to lead Ghana? 85% said yes. 10% said no, 3% said maybe, and then 2% said none of the above. Now pause. You see, I was asking about the age. If this were in the interest of the NDC or the previous one, then John Mahama and Dr. Baumia would both not qualify, because I did not both have gone past 60. But this is recent. So the whole argument where people suddenly want to put you into political clothing is, shall I say, infantile. Because, and I've seen them do the same thing to Bryce Simmons and the rest. If you belong, and we actually brag and say, oh, we're an elitist group and all of that, and people put out a poll, People have a right to express themselves, and I would not be the one to dictate to them how to go about their thought patterns. No. You put the question, you put the options, and I even asked one about, have you recently eaten local rice? All in a bit to even promote local rice. Was that NDC, was that NPP? Was that helping plenty for food and jobs or otherwise? Charlie, forget. Now, the main thing is that when you have a stronghold, and you have to spend so much money and resources to get the attention of the people in your stronghold to make a decision in your favor, there's a problem. This is a by-election in a stronghold, not an orphan constituency. So ideally, you would have had the NPP very relaxed and in that constituency and see the NDC struggle, knowing full well the history of the constituency that I've given you. That it is the NPP that comes first, the independent candidates that usually comes next, and then the NDC comes third. So what was the speed and agitation all about? It's good. The contest was largely peaceful. But then it raises the key questions about vote buying. Vote buying. Show them the videos. We don't have too much time. So vote buying. We're sharing rice. We're sharing gari. We're sharing t-shirts. At some point, we even had somebody say, well, give them t-shirts, they'll vote for you. So this is how we have reduced the people to, what do we reduce them to? We're sharing gari, cups of gari and rice. Not olonkao, the small margarine tin, cups of gari and rice. And that's why I think that the government needs to focus on the National Commission for Civic Education. Because truly, if the people are enlightened, and the people are awakened, and the people know what they are. Look at it. So shameful. And this was done when people were wearing party colors. The NPP is blaming the NDC that they did. I have not seen the videos, because these are the videos that are in circulation. And it is within the stronghold. And I'm saying, if it is in your stronghold, and we had to go and give the people rice and gari and cloth, and actually convince them, somebody alleged that they got 50. See, let's hear this audio. Let's start it. Let's hear it.
One. The name is that you had who was known as Nadia.
So this is clear vote buying. And that puts our democracy at a bigger risk. Because in this country, we know what role the NPP and the NDC have played in trying to get our democracy. In fact, the NPP claims to have done so much to further our democracy than the NDC had done. If you have the conversations, you know. So we started it, we championed it, returned to democratic road, we pushed it out. How did we descend to this low? How did we descend this low? That we have to be sharing things, wearing t-shirt and telling people. And the police is quiet. Yesterday, the police did a fantastic job. Even though some people think that there were too many police people at a small place like Kumawu, but the police did a fantastic job. Now, listen to this. We'll come back. Listen to it.
I just have a Japan and China. I'm going to call and change. I will cut us on a booming 1,000 Ghana. Cut us as Canada. Also, me and so didn't feel any park on nursing school man. I there 1,000 Ghana nursing school. Then I go move. I must have a baby, a BCB. I may put a cut upside and I won't come to Traba. So I put my median, more no muti. I didn't quote to him, Mamma, Mashabi. Papa, or do you feel the panel? No, I'm a 10 year mark. I'm living so missing my barber to a man. I'm making a crop 1 year, man. See, I'm going to
So we are bribing the old, we are bribing the young, and we are putting our democracy in a fix. So it will get to a point that you could be the best material that could ever be around, but because you don't have the money to influence, you may never get into parliament. And guess what? Our parliament works in committees. It has to take a certain capacity to be able to read, digest, analyze the documents, and make sound arguments. If you look at the parliament then, the parliament all started, J.H. Mensah and the rest. Sometimes I go to the library just to watch some of those debates. And you move forward, you see that the quality at some point is beginning to drop. And that's dangerous. This is a by-election, landslide victory. But how was it won? How was that landslide victory? And you will get the people themselves. The Electoral Commission, I congratulated the police, even though I thought that the numbers were too many. I mean, for a small place, I thought it was a war zone at some point. And I like the fact that there was no military inclusion. Because the military's record with the election, in fact, the last election, is a dangerous one. People died, nobody has been held for it. And we will say it. But the Electoral Commission, there was a situation where an old woman came and wanted to vote. She had a choice on who to vote for. She came with her grandchildren and she wanted to vote for the NDC, I'm told. That's what the grandchildren say. And the official of the Electoral Commission held her thumb and voted for the NPP. The Electoral Commission has to look at this image again. Let's go back to 2020, where an official of the Electoral Commission was issuing ballot sheets and tearing out the Nanado's image from it. It happened in 2020. We have also seen a situation where, in Ketu North, the Electoral Commission, look at it on your screen. This is an official of the Electoral Commission caught tampering with ballot papers. That person was arrested. In the matter that happened in Kumawu, this Electoral Commission's officer was just whisked away. Have charges been brought up against her? Has she been interrogated? Have questions been asked of her? And you see the totality of the image of the Electoral Commission is beginning to stand in question because, number one, we are padding the Electoral Commission with party officials and government spokespersons and people who are known to be politically aligned. That conversation has been had. The president did not listen. He still went ahead. It was Dr. Kwaku who came to tell us that, it will not affect anything. This happened in 2020. Also in 2020, the Electoral Commission announced results, changed it, announced again, changed, announced, changed about 5 or 6 times, correct? Before we got the final result. Image is everything. And then we get to the point where we had the situation in Ketu North. You issue ballot sheet and you don't stamp it. We are going to Assin North. We will have 2024. This was supposed to be a dress rehearsal. Where then again you have an official of the Electoral Commission, according to the agents, he insisted that they should write their names and sign the pink sheet even before the polls ended. Initially, I agreed with Dr. Kwekwe when he said, the official did not do well. And then later I come back to say, but the agents also did not do well because they were just asked to write their names and then they went ahead to sign. It comes back to voter education. How much of it are we doing? And if we continue on this tangent where we're doing vote buying, we're toying with the security, we're toying with the credibility of the Electoral Commission, all of it is a threat to our democracy. Listen to this final video. And you know what happened yesterday? We were busing people and even campaigning on the day of the elections. Today it's in favor. Tomorrow, if it happens to another, may we not complain. But let us fix our electoral processes. Let us fix it in the interest of our democracy. Good morning.